Hello, my name is Chris and I work as a solution advisor at SAP Brazil in the pre-sales team. We are going now to present the Hana Cloud Services Showcase, and we will present you in more details the landscape that we are using for accessing smart data access, for database virtualization, and smart data integration for data integration between these environments. So we have a local computer in Brazil, and we are accessing a Hana Cloud, actually two Hana Cloud instances where they communicate with each other directly using SDA, and we have installed two DP agents in a AWS Linux machine in the cloud, one for communicating with Escrow Server in Azure and Synapse Server as well, and also Excel. So the Excel file must be present or uploaded to this DP agent. And the other DP agent is for communicating with Data Warehouse Cloud. So Data Warehouse Cloud, we use this DP agent to communicate with Azure or AWS. The Hana Cloud persistent services in AWS. So we are going to talk about how accessing these Hana instances. They can be on-premise or cloud. The Hana Data Lake, Escrow Server, and Excel files. Not forgetting that we should turn on statistics in the large tables that are going to be consumed as a remote source. And this is the video that we're going to see now. So let's start showing a little bit more about how to install the agents. So you can go to the SAP Download Center and download the Data Provisioning Agent installer. In this case, you have downloaded here in the TMP folder. So this is the file. Then we unzip the file and this directory is created. And we can see here that we have the installer. For example, we have here the command that should be used. As you can see, if you want to install a new DP agent, you use the installer in silent mode, batch mode. This is the path where you're going to install your user, and the port numbers for the listener and admin. So as you can see, you have installed Data Provisioning Agent in this directory. This is the Azure agent that we have installed in Azure United States, and this is the AWS agent that we have installed in Europe. So if you go here, for example, to CD USR by SAP Data Provisioning Agent 0, you can see here that you have some configuration files. This one. We also have the Excel folder where the Excel files must be uploaded to be accessed by Hana. And let's go to the bin directory where we can see that we have here two main commands to issue. One is to configure the agent. We can see here now that we have an agent running, but for connecting to a Hana system, for example, we can use here the option 6. So we will connect it to a Hana Cloud using JDBC. So JDBC is true as the default connection. This is the name of the host, as you can see here. This is 921B. This is the name of the host that was already configured here, so I can only confirm. Port number, you can see here, is 443. I can confirm. And the agent admin is DB admin, so I have to put the password. Then password again. So I don't use a proxy server here, and my username for the agent is sapadmin, and already have the password. So you can see we're connected to the Hana server JDBC. We can see here, we go back, we have other alternatives like register the agent. So I have already registered this agent. I don't need to do this anymore. We can come here in Data Explorer, and we can see that in agents, if I give the right click and show agents, we can see that have the agent showcase SAP HANA Cloud. This is the name. It is connected, as you can see here. And we can add adapters. As you can see here, I have added already the MSQL Escrow Server, this one, and the Excel adapter. We can also check this using the agent CLI. So for example, I can see here the number 8, which is adapter registration. I can display adapters, number 1. And here, for example, I can see that I have Excel adapter installed and Escrow Server installed. Let's remember that each of these adapters, they have a sophisticated technology behind them, because they can convert, for example, data types of other databases to HANA and establish the connection, replication, and etc. You can find more details for STA and STI in the manuals. Here is just the objective to show you how this was configured in the showcase. So you get back here. If you want to register a new adapter, you can use option 2, or you can add an adapter here through the Database Explorer. Okay, so once you have configured that for the Excel file, you need an additional step for a additional security. So you can set the security property. If you go to option 12, set Excel adapter access token, then you hit a password, and this password you must be informed when connecting the remote source in the HANA machine, so you can establish a secure connection between HANA Cloud and the data provisioning agent. We'll see that in the next few minutes. Okay, so now we have in this landscape installed and configured the DB agent. Now we have to connect or create a remote source for this HANA to be able to connect to these remote sources. So remote source is the Excel file that is here, and Escrow Server that is in United States. So we go here in the Web IDE, and you can start seeing that we have some remote objects that are being mapped. But before do that, we need to create these remote sources here in the HANA machine. So it's very easy. You can come here, add remote source. So for example, we use Excel file. In adapter name, we can look here at the adapter that you have added, Excel. You can say, for example, file system and which folder it is. in this case we can see here that we have a folder that is named Excel. And here we have the file. This file was uploaded from my computer. If we come here and go to DWC, we can see here that you have this card transactions file. It's a very simple file. In this example, we have the first tab with 2000 lines. You can see here with some informations. This is a calculated component column, informations here, and you have a second tab with only 10 records. Each of these tabs are seen as a table by the STA component, and this table, for example, has 4 columns. This table also has 4 columns. This has 10 lines. This has 2000 lines. So when we go to Database Explorer, we are already in the default folder, which is Excel. And all you have to do here is you have to set the credentials to technical user, and in this case you have to inform the token. The token used here is the same one as we show that was typed here in the set security property here in the option 12. As soon as you establish the secure connection, we can see here when you open the Excel remote source, we can see that we have one file, and inside this file we have two tabs. Each tab you can create a virtual table just hitting this button. So in our case we have made these definitions in Hdi. So if you come here, the Excel, for example, we are using this name as for the virtual table. This is the remote source name. There is no database name, no schema name, and then we have here the name of the file and slash the sheet of this Excel file. We also have the same one for the other sheet with 2000 rows. You can also right click and see using the visual the open code editor. This is the code that should be used. So after you do that, we can deploy the Hdi project, and when we deploy the Hdi project, what you can see here is that we have a table that is named Excel CT tags. So if you come here and we select, for example, this file, select star from, you can see here that we have 10 rows. If we do the same for the other table, you can see here that we also have these records, much more records. So we can play like unioning, joining, or for example, we can do a sum. Like where transaction, ID equals 2, for example. And you see that this where clause will be applied, and you have here only one row. So once you have made this configuration, SAP HANA will see this Excel file as a table, and you can even reuse this definition, for example, in Data Warehouse Cloud or any client. For any client that connects to HANA Cloud, you'll be able to use this sheet of the Excel file as a table. So it's very powerful, very interesting to use in many scenarios. So now we can start to see how we use the remote source for Escrow Server. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say something. When you are in the remote source for the Excel file, we can look here, for example, open, then edit. We can see that we don't need to use file system. We can use, for example, SharePoint, Office 365, or a SharePoint installation in your own environment. And here you can inform, look, the credentials for each of the SharePoint alternatives. So now, yes, we can go to the next one, which is the Hana Showcase. This is the other machine. As we can see here, we have 2 Hana instances. So what I'm going to do is to configure this second Hana machine as a remote source for our Showcase instance. This remote source can be a Hana Cloud instance like here, or an on-premise Hana as well. So what we have to do is, we can see here, we use the adapter Hana ODBC. It's already default and pre-configured in Hana Cloud. We just have to inform the endpoint or IP for the server, the port, the type is read, write, or read only. And here you see in the manual how you generate the certificate for this connection. And after that, you just inform the technical user to connect to the other Hana database. And you can see here that you can look for, I don't know, a table like card. And you can search. Let's see here, SAP admin card. Let's see which table do we have there. Yes, so we have these tables available in the other Hana, and if I want, I can use any of these and create as a virtual table. So in this case, we have also created these definitions in Web IDE. We can see here the Showcase card transactions. You see here it's pointing to this server, no database name, SAP admin card transactions. And we have also created this database statistics in the metric. So every time the Hana Cloud instance is going to join a table, for example, with the other Hana machine, the other Hana instance, it has the statistics to optimize the query execution. So, for example, if we join a table, a dimension table with only 1 million records here in this instance, joining a transactions defect table with 100 million records in the remote source, the optimizer will send these 1 million rows to push down to the remote source, resolve the join there, and we will have a much faster response time than bringing 100 million rows from this remote source to our instance in the local HANA. It takes much more time to move 100 million rows to this machine. So HANA works very well. It's very quick when you do this kind of joins, and we can, we'll do some tests in the next few minutes. And then last we have the Escrow Server, which we can see here. There are lots of objects that are connected to the Azure Escrow Server. We see here that we have in DBO the tag table, which we join with the transactions table. And this tag table has also 1 million records to be joined here. If we click here and create a virtual object, we are creating a remote table, but instead of that, we are using this Escrow Server tag definition to create the virtual table. And here we can see how we configure Escrow Server. Very easy as well. We choose the adapter name. We put the endpoint of the Azure Escrow Server, the port. We choose the database name. And then in the end, you use technical user and password. So with that, we can connect to the Escrow Server. And in the end, we also have the HANA data lake. As you can see here, there is a schema, and I think we have the card transactions table. Let's see. Yes, card transactions code. This instance is exactly, this instance here, the data lake, so we can join tables from the hot warm with the cold data. And here we can see in Web IDE that we also have the definition for this HANA data lake table, card transactions code. So here we have Excel, HANA Data Lake, which is Sybase IQ, another HANA, and Escrow Server. And we can do any kind of joins, union, any kind of operations among all of these technologies. And this is as simple as, for example, we can come here and, for example, let's create a calculation view. We can see here this one, card transactions showcase HC. So what we're doing here, we are creating a very simple calculation view which consumes this remote card transactions table with 100 million rows sitting in the secondary HANA instance. That means we are going and this table with 100 million rows, and this is our primary HANA instance. So after that, we create a star calculation view. So this remote this calculation view pointing to the remote table is here, and when we create here the join definition, we see that we have the remote fact table with 100 million rows in the center of the star, and all of these three tables are in the local HANA. That means 3 dimensions here, large fact table here. And even when we join all of these tables, we have a very fast response time. Let's see that. Come here and we try to find this calculation view. This one. So let's create, for example, if you want to only open data, we can see here all the definitions that we have and all the data that we have for this view. So it's now resolving the entire view. You can see you have the fact and lots of dimension fields. We can put here, for example, customer state and city amount. So it's very fast, few seconds, and it's searching all the 100,000 card transactions table, and you have here the number of transactions per state. Very efficient. It's just amazing. We also have, for example, we can do that with screw statements as well. Let's go now to another example. We have this start transaction steering. So what we have here, let's try to find the open data. In this case, what we have is a join. Sorry, first of all, let's come here. First of all, what we have is the following. We have this table here, which has hot warm data. So we have a partition with current year in memory, past year in disk, NSC. You can see here. This is the table. Let's go to the definition. Yes, you can see we have two partitions here, and we have the code data in this card transactions code, which sits in HANA Data Lake. So what we do here is we union the hot and warm table with the cold table, and more than this, after that we join this table, we union these tables and then join with the dimensions table. And we can see here as well that SAP is executing and resolving this query. So it's a lot of data. We can see that there is a little bit more of time for executing the entire table. As you can see, there is no filter, no aggregation. We are processing the 100% of the data, or the 100 million rows, which is unioning hot, warm, and cold data. And in the end, we will be able to provide this calculation view to users, which will have any idea about what is happening in the end. So what you can do here is the following. You can do a select some city amount from this view, and as you can see, we will have a very fast response. It summed up all the three tiers. We can maybe do something like cust state, group by cust state. And this is a little bit more complex query. It will have to aggregate all this information, taking in consideration the three temperatures of the data. And now, as you can see here, we have the result for this query, and it takes about 1 minute. So very impressive performance, considering you have three tiers, two different instances, and the aggregation for the sum of all the metrics. So with that, we finish our presentation. We have covered all of these topics. I thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.